Snapshot 25w44a is here with the Camel Husk and the Parched, chunks fading into existence and much more. My name is Slime and this is a showcase of all the news. Let's start with the Parched. It is a new skeleton variant that replaces some of the regular skeleton spawns in deserts. They have 16 health, 8 hearts. Like husks, they spawn only on the surface and they do not burn in daylight. Like other skeleton variants, they shoot potion arrows, and for the Parched, that is arrows of weakness. Just like the Stray and the Bogged, they have a chance of dropping weakness arrows when killed. Similar to the Bogged, they shoot at a slower rate than regular skeletons. And of course there's another way to get them, with their new spawn egg. The other new mob is the Camel Husk, a new undead camel variant. It spawns at 0 light on the surface of deserts much like husks, and when they spawn they do so with 2 riders. A husk wielding a spear in the front and a Parched in the back. Camel Husks have 32 health, that is 16 hearts, and do not burn in daylight. They are hostile if the rider is hostile, but passive without a rider. Without a rider, they'll also despawn like other hostile mobs, but if a player rides one, it'll become persistent. If you kill the Husk rider, it can sometimes drop a rabbit foot, and Camel Husks like to eat rabbit feet and can be tempted and healed with them, but cannot be bred. If you kill one, it drops 2 to 3 rotten flesh or more when using looting. You can also ride them, and they work like regular camels, and of course they also have a new spawn egg. There's some updated advancements in this version. The Monster Hunter advancement can now be gained from killing a Parched or a Camel Husk, and both are now required for the Monsters Hunted advancement. This version also comes with updates and fixes for the Nautilus and the Zombie Nautilus. They can now attack any mob if provoked by the mob, not only players. Nodli can now deal damage even if the mob griefing game rule is turned off, and there is a new distance by Nautilus statistic. Equipping a saddle onto a Nautilus now has a unique sound. Other mob news. Horses, mules, donkeys and camels no longer sink in water when ridden by a player. Instead, they'll keep floating and can swim at a reduced speed. Piglins and hoglins no longer shake like they're about to zombify in the Nether. And bats no longer spawn at higher frequencies and in higher light levels between the dates of October 20th and November 3rd. Yes, that was a thing. Parrots can now mimic the sounds of the Zombie Nautilus, Zombie Horse, Camel Husk, and the Parched. And arrows and tridents no longer get stuck on mobs and players. This version also has a few updates to the spear and its lunge enchantment. The amount of exhaustion caused by using a lunge spear has been reduced and is now 1 hunger point per enchantment level. Lunge now also uses up exactly 1 durability of the spear, regardless of the level of the enchantment. In visual news, chunks now fade in when they load instead of popping into existence. The fade time can be controlled by a new slider in the graphics options. Off as the minimum value and 2 seconds as the maximum. The fog in the Nether has been changed from previously being somewhat dependent on render distance to now always applying in a range from 10 to 96 blocks away. Items in the game no longer have gaps along the seams between different surfaces. This was especially visible on large items like the spear, but could be seen on any item. Items no longer sometimes show strange artifacts along the flat sides when viewed in third-person view of a player holding them or when on the ground. Some cross-shaped blocks still stretched when viewed at a sharp angle, including nether sprouts and sweet berry bushes. That is fixed in this version. Some particles no longer have thin vertical lines along their sides, and resource packs with large textures no longer have gaps rendered between low-resolution blocks. There's now a new graphics option for anisotropic filtering. Turning this option on improves the visual quality of blocks when viewed from a distance or at an angle. The default is off for the fast graphics preset, 2x for fancy and 4x for fabulous. There's also an 8x option. This option has a significant impact on graphics memory use, but not much of an impact to performance otherwise. The interface section of the graphics options has been renamed to Preferences. And elements of the debug options and accessibility options screens now update properly when the option is changed using a key combination. And a world generation fix. Magma no longer sometimes generates on the ceilings of caves below aquifers. Some user interface news. The player model in the inventory screen now renders in the correct orientation when the player is not standing up and when riding a happy ghast. There's now a search box on the language selection screen and the biome selection screen for single biome worlds. Clicking on single player or multiplayer and then immediately clicking a world or server no longer joins it even if the play button wasn't clicked. The mouse cursor now changes when hovering over tabs and when scrolling in the advancements menu, and over play arrows in the worlds and server lists. Data and resource pack names no longer overlap the scroll bar in certain situations, and the elements of that screen are now selected in the right order when navigating using the tab key. Buttons in the telemetry screen now line up properly regardless of the language. This snapshot also brings us stability fixes in the shape of several crash fixes. And this version also brings us pack changes in data pack version 92 and resource pack version 72 with a big change to game rules and more. If you're also interested in that, keep an eye on the channel for a separate video. But that's all for this one. Thank you for watching. You can use the buttons down below to make this video take the place of some spawns of regular boring videos in the desert that is the YouTube algorithm. My name is Slime and I'll see you next time.